What's up guys, Joker here. Finally, we have the Junkyard God himself joining us in these video tutorials. Brian, how are you man? Konnichiwa, Joker-kun. Holy SLI Batman. What the fuck was that? Are you okay? Was just saying hi man. Thought I was watching Naruto for a moment there. Just trying to make a good first impression. Yeah, they'll never take you back in Australia now. Aw, don't say that. So, are we talking about how we make TGW? No man, this is a truck simulator podcast tutorial.
Hey, what's up guys? Joker here for episode 48, the countdown to Pascal with Brian. Hope you guys enjoyed that cartoon there provided by our friend Tiago over at Tiago Tunes. I've linked to that actually down in the description below if you guys want to check out the full episode. It's got a bunch of other things in it as well with other tech YouTubers. I believe Paul and Kyle, Tech Syndicate, Jay's 2 cents in there. There's a bunch of like tech tubers you would know, so check out that link for the full video.
Yeah, Tiago's got you covered.
Yeah. Hopefully it is down there in the description. It should be.
So
yeah, it is. Yeah, I did update it. There it is. Yeah.
We're back with episode 48, and this week we're talking about a variety of topics, like a countdown to what looks like a Pascal announcement, since it's the order of 10.
Yep.
And a Battlefield announcement too. Whoa.
Yeah,
which
man,
is kind of like coinciding exactly with the Nvidia announcement. And yeah, so there's a lot to look forward to in another day.
About 2 days. We got a heap of good topics to talk about. But what's been going on with you this week? Anything new? Besides the water cooling build.
Yeah, besides the water cooling build, nothing new.
Nothing new.
So it's just literally I've just been at it with this thing. Hey, like, I figured in the end it's a combination of the blocks and the pump, and I said that in the video, but I will give it one more shot on a different build, like a graphics card with no shim, and maybe a different CPU and motherboard, just to test, like, just to give it one more shot, because it's already there, like, the loop's already done. Man, it's a tough loop, eh? Like, I'm literally dancing around, swinging it around like a cowboy, and there's no leaks at all. Like, it's a tough loop. So,
well, that was some pretty rugged hosing you were using, right? That was like some industrial strength tubing.
yeah, like, I mean, like, a lot of that knowledge comes from back when I was in my teens working on cars, man. You just know, like, the stuff they use in engines, that piping, that's strong stuff, hey. That does not break. It stretches, and yeah, like, you can probably wrap it up around your computer and swing your computer around and it won't break.
Well, that's what you were doing. You were basically using the thing as like a mace. You were like swinging that thing around.
Yeah, it's good stuff, eh? So, yeah, I was impressed with how strong and rigid the loop was, but
I bet you liked that, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah. So, but I wasn't impressed by the performance. I was just like, as soon as I started it up, I'm like, is this for real? Like,
yeah.
I'm like, oh, face palm. So I was hoping to get like, a flat like 60 across the GPU and CPU, but no, like it went up to like 70, and then I put on the Cool Master fans. Admittedly, that did change the temps. Like it lowered the radiator temps down, but the problem was the CPU was just still sucking. So like it was just, I guess it was just, I don't know.
Someone wanted to know, do you think you can beat the AIO with a $100 budget? NoX made a €1 donation. Thank you for that, NoX.
What's that?
He wants to know, do you think you can beat an AIO with a $100 budget? If you had
$100 budget, $100 interest, yeah.
If you had a $100 budget to do the water cooling thing, do you think you could beat an AIO?
I think I could. Like, I got to do my research on what's the best fish pump. I think we got to go to fish pumps for that. Yeah, like it's got to be a solid, good pump, and they got the blocks, man. I don't know the D-Lo. What's the best block for value for money? I've heard the Raystorm from XSPC, but they're $50 a block, and I need 2 of them. And I've heard they're like they're like one of the best value for money blocks out there. I don't know about testing my luck with eBay blocks again, but I'm kind of weary there.
You just got to make your own, I think. You got to get a CNC machine and make your own.
No way. I mean, I'll make the mounts by myself. I think that's doable. Like I'll go down. Yeah, I'll go down. Yeah, I'll get some acrylic, and I'll see what I can do, and make some solid mounts for both the CPU and GPU. But other than that, it's kind of like, Man, it was a nightmare, hey. Because I mean, I got it all running now. Like it's all here. It's on air now, and it's running really well. I mean, the 7970 is such a good card, hey. So
Yeah, that thing is
just
a beast. I mean, I remember weighing my options between that and the 680, and like that thing was actually beating the 680 in a lot of benchmarks, and it overclocked like an absolute beast when that thing came out. I never actually owned one though, unfortunately.
Oh well, yeah. I'm really impressed with the 7970. I mean, I got this thing to 1.2, and it was just kicking ass at those speeds. I mean, it is such a good card even to this day for 1080p gaming. Like this thing is still a king, you know.
Yeah.
So it's unreal. Like it really is that good. So I'm impressed recommending it to anyone who wants to, who's looking for a good card for the money. I mean, I got mine for like $130.
Yeah.
It's just an absolute beast. So yeah, but that's about it on personal news. I mean, I did go to Tokyo with my son, and I did record. Yeah, I was so good, man. I mean, I was more focused on just having fun with the little boy, and it was so good because I did still pick up some good deals, and I got all that on camera. Like I did still get what I wanted to get out of Tokyo. So I'm going to be doing that vlog pretty soon, even though it's a few days old now. But I'll be getting that done. Yeah, so that's awesome. I'll be getting that done, and
Did you get
that's
some nice
about it.
sites in Tokyo?
Yeah, I mean, I got not really. Yeah, I was just like focused on just getting the content and playing with the bubs. That was it.
There you go. That's what it's all about. I didn't get any other new pickups this week besides the PC build that everyone already saw me go to get everything for that, which I should be building tomorrow. I think if I have enough time. I've just been kind of getting caught up this week on videos and playing Overwatch a lot, which is really good.
Yeah, I saw that, dude. I saw how smooth it was. Like I could see that from my end, man. That looks like a this is
especially the off
stuttering.
Especially the off-screen shots. Like I mentioned that I was having problems with the recordings in SLI. The off-screen shots that I showed of the SLI, if you look down in the bottom right, you can see that the shadow play icon is capturing. That was actually while I was recording, and I was running around getting like 250 FPS.
Yeah, I mean Blizzard. That's the thing. Blizzard optimized for PC first. They always have. At least to my knowledge. So I'm really looking forward to that game. An FPS that's finally, straight up optimized for PC. We haven't had that in a while, I don't think.
And I think the open beta launches, someone just mentioned in a few hours, if it's the same time as the other one, it should be around 7 p.m. Eastern, which is in about an hour and 20 minutes if it's the same time as the other day. So yeah.
Well, that's it. I mean,
if pretty soon.
Well, Blizzard, if they want to set a proper track record, they're definitely doing it with Overwatch, which is great. So it's finally time that we, all us tech enthusiasts got a game that's finally PC baby.
Isn't it weird though that this is kind of like the exception though rather than the norm for games coming out? It's like, hey, this game came out. It's it's a pretty good game, but we gotta sing its praise just because it's running normal. It's just running the way that a game should.
But at the same time, that means I'm just going to go out and buy it instantly and just support people who support us. Support the community. That's what we're all about. That's what it should be all about. Lately we've just all been getting, fleeced and ripped off. But if a company's going to put the effort in and do a good job, and you're saying it's a really good job, I'm going to try it. If it's a really good job,
play the open beta. If you aren't sure about it, I would say they got the open beta starting tonight. Play that. Everyone in the audience, play that. See if you like it. If you like it, buy it. I talked about if they, the CD keys, they've got it for $40 with the Origins edition. And that comes with a bunch of extra content. That's $60 over on Blizzard or $40 for the base game. But I was like, oh yeah, I just went to CD Keys. I think I paid $38 and change. And that got me the Origins edition with a bunch of extra content. So I was like, sweet, good to go. And then we've got Doom coming out this month. I'm getting the collector's edition of that, which is really soon actually. I'm going to do an unboxing for that. Hopefully I can go to the midnight release and maybe even vlog that if they're doing a midnight release. I have to check. But if they are, I will definitely do a video from there. That'll be fun.
Yeah, hell yeah. I was going to do an Overwatch PC because I've been looking forward to that game for a long time, man.
I'm definitely going to test it on this PC right here because looking at the requirements and after playing it and seeing how smooth it was when I build this rig, we're definitely going to be testing it. And that was one of the besides Witcher 3, Overwatch was probably the second most requested game in the comments on that last video for games I should benchmark. But I was everyone was like, Witcher 3 was up there. That was the most one. Witcher 3, Overwatch, and Rise of the Tomb Raider. No one mentioned Doom at all. I'm going to test Doom, but no one mentioned Doom. I was like, okay. Overwatch and Witcher 3. It's everyone wants is those two games. I'm going to test more than two games though. I'm not Linus. Ooh,
Yeah.
burn.
Ooh,
That was a joke throwing back to Adored TV's latest video, where he was talking
really?
about I had we have a pretty active comment thread going in there from something I had mentioned, because
Yep.
his whole thing was about cherry picking benchmarks, and I pointed to one of the older videos that he had done where he only tested one game, Crysis 3, which favors AMD. And I was just like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little bit sketchy. So I pointed up to that. There's a pretty good discussion going on over there in the comments.
Okay.
But that pretty much wraps it up for personal news for me. You want to get into the first topic here, the countdown to Pascal?
Well, let's get into the meat and the potatoes and the vegetables and the salad.
I prefer the meat. I just like the meat and 2 veg. That's my favorite bit of it.
Well, I like a fruit salad, you know.
You like to toss the salad, don't you?
Yeah, that's it. Throw in 1 banana and 2 oranges, you know. So.
Yep. So we got the countdown to Pascal up here. This is all based off of the whole order of 10 thing. If you haven't been paying attention, there were these order of 10 things that were sent out to some of the websites, like Gamers Nexus, Paul's Hardware got one that I know of. Those are the only 2 I know of actually off the top of my head. And a bunch of people like debugged and decoded, all these messages, and it, I guess, led to this website, which has a countdown, which is seemingly to Pascal from Nvidia. So that's coming up really soon. It's a day and 19 hours and 17 minutes. So that's Saturday, May 6th.
So that's Saturday for you guys? What time? Because I know it was released in Japan. The GTX 970 was released in Japan on a Friday at like 4 p.m. It was a weird launch time.
Okay, well,
so
if 6, it would be like 1 p.m. 1 p.m. Eastern time, I think it is.
Okay, cool. Because that might be actual.
Right.
That might be an actual hard release of the graphics card, you know. And if so, like, damn, I got to go get my train ticket and get into get one. So, but it's kind of sucks because like if this is like this weekend, it's like ugh. Yeah, because my son is due to come over again for a second weekend in a row, so I'll have to put this off for a few days. And I got to work on Monday. Ugh.
Well,
double, like triple.
I don't think there's going to be much for you to do, man. I mean, they're gonna make a press conference and they're gonna say, "Here, guys, here's the 1080 and the 1070 and all the specs to go with it," and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, but I mean, it could be a hard release. Yeah, it should be.
Could
ready.
be. I don't know. I think they might wait until Computex to actually push out the release. But it looks, but we're definitely at least going to get the announcement this weekend, I would suppose. But typically in the past, though, you're right. Usually it would be like they announce it and then the cards are out like now, like go press F5 on Newegg right now. Stop waiting. What are you doing here? Still watching the stream? You should be pressing F5 a lot.
Yeah.
That's what I did last year for my 980 Ti's though. I basically lived on the F5 button for about 3 days on Newegg, just like come on, because I didn't trust their auto notification thing. It was too damn slow.
Yeah, I head into Electric City, man, because they got it on the shelves, you know. So, you just get one, and, it takes me 3 hours, so I don't have to do any shipping or anything. So,
I mean, I can go wait outside Micro Center, but I have no idea what day they'll be getting them. That's what I got to hit up Finn. I was like, yo, Finn, I know you got the direct line on that's the manager I spoke to when I was here the other day. I was like, I know you got a direct line on when those Pascal cards are coming. You just got to hit me up. And,
yeah.
And I'll come by and
I'll fired, man.
I'll do another Micro Center video and I'll tell everyone I got those cards at Micro Center. Like, I'll hook you guys up with a mention again. Like,
But yeah, you got asked. I mean, are you going to get the 1080 or the 1070?
what kind of question is that? I'm gonna get two 1080s, obviously.
I'm getting the 1070, and that's me.
I'm gonna get. If I don't get sent any cards, I'll buy two 1080s and I will buy a Polaris card when those release.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. I'm buying on both.
I'm really hoping that I can get in some review units on some of the lower tiered cards. Like there was some rumors earlier today. We don't have a topic. It was really just a very, very loose rumor. That's why I didn't give it a topic. But they were rumoring that there's going to be a 1060 Ti with 6 gigabytes of video memory, which could be huge if they do that. But it was just a rumor, really. They had they were looking at the model numbers and they were alluding to maybe it being a Ti, but they had very, very flaky information on that at best.
Yeah, so I mean, I will WCCF Tech. Do you want to move on to this, like the Nvidia Pascal specs and pricing? I mean, it looks interesting because I mean the cores and stuff. Sorry.
Well, not only that, but also being paired with Battlefield 5 too, possibly here.
Yeah, that definitely looks like it, especially since that's getting an announcement around
The
the
same-
exact
the same
same
day.
time. Yeah.
The exact same day. So everything is pointing to them being teamed up, which means I guess this will be the first Frostbite 3 engine title that'll just run like absolute crap because it's gonna have GameWorks thrown on top of it, right?
Well, it's interesting because like last time, AMD got sort of like the cahoots with Battlefield, 4. And like I don't know, maybe that hit Nvidia like in the pride spot, and they're like, no, we're getting with Battlefield this time. So that'll be interesting to see anyway. But yeah, I don't want any games work features like, I don't want to see people, I don't want to see people getting gimped on AMD cards either.
Yeah, I don't want to see anyone getting gimped. But in the past,
that crap's got to stop. That crap's really got to stop.
In the previous games, they had teamed up with AMD. They had the Mantle support, so this is kind of a change in direction to going with Nvidia this time around.
Yeah, well that is actually a big change. So, but I mean, we look at the specs there. I mean, it looks interesting if we look at the 1080 and the 1070. I mean, we've got 2048 CUDA cores versus 2060.
2560, yeah.
Yeah, so, and then you look at the pricing. It's kind of like one's rumored to be $449 versus $599, which is kind of means like they're cracking onto it. Like they know a lot of people just go for the mid-range card, not that flagship, and so they're trying to make the flagship appear like it's got better value, and it not only appears but it looks like. If this is rumored to be true, then I'll probably be forking out the extra for the 1080 because just based on the 5x alone, if one's rumored to have 5x and the others doesn't, so. Especially since that game 4K.
I mean, I would have thought that the 1070 would have just been like a cut down 1080, with the same amount of video memory possibly.
Yeah.
Kind of like they did in the last generation, but it's the same amount of video memory, but not the same type of video memory.
Yeah, exactly. It's a big difference.
And $150 price difference there. And I would also have to assume at some point down the road they maybe come out with a 1080 Ti because they're talking about the Tesla full GPU, or that could be a Titan. Then again. It could be a while before we see the full fat, GPU from them, and get a price cut. That's what we saw with the 900 series, we saw with the 700 series as well, where the TIs came out, and then there was a price cut on the 70 and the 80. So this would probably come down to 500, and the 1070 down to like 350 ish, but that would be further down the road once they put out a Ti card, if they do. So, but the launch prices are about what they were on the previous generations. It's not really surprising there.
Yeah, I know. Well, wasn't it 330 for the 970? That's a big difference.
Well, not when it launched. No, not when it launched. It is now. Now you can get them for like 330, but when they launched, they were up around like 400 or more.
Really? I thought they were. No, I thought they were cheap in the States. I thought that's $399, wasn't it? $399.
No, they were a little bit over 400, and the 980s were up around 550 to 650, depending on which ones you got, and then those eventually come down about $100. Brian's off camera doing cocaine. Get it in, brother. Get it in.
Nah, sorry. Yeah, I'm just having a snort, guys, off cam. No, I've just been sick a little bit the last few days, so I don't know what it is, but my chest feels a lot better today, which is good. I had like a bloody heavy chest the last few days, so I don't know. I guess it's this water cooling loop. This water cooling loop's giving me sickness. Yeah.
East Pittsburgh is saying that the 970 launched for 350. I'm gonna look this up. GTX 970 launch price.
Yeah, like that's what I thought. I thought it was 329 on launch, man. Like it's
wow.
Yeah, now you can see you're confusing me. That's what you're doing.
Maybe I am. Okay, I was thinking maybe I'm thinking of AMD. Okay, no. Yep.
Like, I remember they launched it.
You were right. You were right. The GTX 770 launched at $399. The GTX 970 launched at $329. You were right.
Yeah, it's like I mean that's a big price. That's what I was saying. There's a big price gap between the 970 this time and the rumored 1070. It's kind of like, please make it cheaper. So I don't know, but yeah, there was a big gap. It's like the 970 was $329 and the 980 was $549. I think that's what they're saying.
$549. Yeah, that was a huge gap, man. Going back in time, like, man, I would have just got 970s at launch because the 980 was like such a barely better card.
Oh, well, dude, like I went into Electric City to get one. It was like they were charging literally the equivalent of $900 for one of them. And it's like, then I look at the 970, they were charging the equivalent of about $400 and something here. So I was like, no brainer. And I saw some guy at the counter. I remember I was saying that. Saw some guy at the counter just handing over his $900, and I'm like, face palm. I'm like, how do you do that? Like,
Yeah, honestly,
do you just not like money? Do you just hate money?
at that pricing on the 970, I would say that the 980 isn't worth anything more than $400, just based on scale to the 970's pricing. That's about what I'd be willing to pay for the additional performance over a 970 is like an extra $70.
Yeah, well, like, I don't know, but what they're charging here is like kind of like, yeah, to entice you to go up to that top tier card this time. So very interesting. I mean, it'll remain to be seen when it's finally released. I mean, obviously it's, yeah, got the WCCF factor there. So
it is throwing in a bit of speculation, but it seems like everything is lining up there. I mean, we got the Battlefield premiere announcement up here. That's coming at the same time here, like pretty much 1 day, 22 hours. So it's just a few hours after the Nvidia announcement, which would make sense if the Nvidia do their announcement. You know, that runs and then 2-3 hours later, Battlefield comes out and like, here's Battlefield 5, and it's all running on Nvidia GPUs. It sounds exactly like something they would do. And it sounds like something they've done. They've done it before. When Battlefield 4 was announced, they announced it with AMD running on AMD hardware, and they showed. I think it was the 295X, or was it the one before that? I think it was a dual GPU card, if I'm not mistaken.
I think, yeah, I forgot, man. Like, I don't know, like,
Battlefield. They tested it on an AMD card, though. I remember that, and they were showing off Mantle. So yeah. I bet they'll do that this time as well.
To be honest, man, Battlefield 4, like, I really wasn't impressed with that at all. Like, I remember when it was released, I was just like, ugh. Like, I don't know.
I got into it a lot when it came out, but I got bored with it eventually as well because of the fact that the game was unbalanced, the maps sucked, and and the fact that they overdid it with trying to shove every single game mode onto every single map in the game, which has never been a good idea, in my opinion. Like, if you look back at, like, Bad Company 2, like, certain maps were for Rush, certain maps were for Conquest, and they eventually started to trickle over some of the other maps that they could make work for those modes, but there were some that were left out because they just realized, like, hey, this map does not work for this mode, so we're not going to do it. And there were so many maps in Battlefield 4 that did not work on certain game modes, maps that were made for large conquests, and then they tried to make it for Rush, and it was like, this is awful. It was just so unbalanced. And it's like they just need to just go back and just...
They need to go back to the drawing board. Yeah, like, I don't know. They just need to get...
Scale, they need to scale back, but that won't happen. It's too much money at stake.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like, that's what I mean. I hope with Battlefield 5, too, they get that whole tick rate thing and the servers right from the get-go. That was the biggest issue for me. Like, I'm playing it, and, you know, it's one thing to play a game and, like, you know, have imbalances and whatnot, but it's another thing to play a game and start firing at someone, and it feels like your guns are burst fire. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you're killing each other at the same time. I remember when I first played that, the first 2 days or so, the first day, played it for like an hour, and I got 2 simultaneous kills. And if, you know, in CSGO or COD, that's extremely rare. Like, I think I've only done it once in all the time I played COD.
You've only got one double kill in all your time.
Like, no, simultaneously. Like, you're killing someone and they kill you. Exactly.
Trading.
Yeah. In Battlefield 4, man, I had that, like, happen 2 times in, like, a day. It
happens all the time.
Yeah, but, like, in COD or CSGO, it rarely happens.
Yeah,
like,
they got the better tick rates.
Yeah. And so that's why I was annoyed with that, you know. So, I guess I kind of like the Twitch shooter format better, but still, hopefully they get that right with Battlefield 5. So,
and well, they've updated the tick rate on the game first, but it's only on certain servers, and it's up to the server managers that are running them to actually enable the higher tick rate for their servers. So there's still a lot of them out there that are only running on 30 hertz, and there's some that are 60 hertz. There are some that are as high as 120 hertz. It doesn't make a lot. I mean, obviously higher is going to be better there for tick rate.
Yeah.
But I would like to see this game launch at the very least with a standard of a 60 hertz tick rate on consoles as well as PC. I think
30's fair. I mean, 10
No,
was
it's not. 30's terrible. No, 10 was bad. Then they upped to 30, which was still horrible. Yeah. And then they put out 60 and 120, and it was finally okay.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's, you know, even at 60, they're still not operating at what CS:GO is running at.
64. I mean, I think CS:GO 64 and 128 depends on the servers.
Yeah, it depends on the servers.
It's really good. I mean, CS:GO is really good. There's no.
It's very snappy, and I think with Battlefield, they just trying to throw too much in it. You've got all that Levolution crap. The script, like it's cool, like one time, looking at those scripted events. But you know what I'd rather, you know what I'd rather have? Actual real-time destruction, like back in Bad Company 2, when I could literally level an entire map. When I was a defender on Rush on Valparaiso, I could say, okay, I'm going to go out with my C4 and I'm going to blow up all of these buildings so that the enemy doesn't have anywhere to hide in, and I'm going to level the map. And that's how you could literally change the map for your team's advantage. And that's what Battlefield has always been to me. And it seems like every game since that, they've just gotten away from it. It's like Battlefield 3 was like, okay, there's some destruction, like I could blow up walls and like rubble will fall down, which was good, but it wasn't as good as Bad Company 2, and because they wanted to have more advanced looking buildings. And then we saw in Battlefield 4, they went even further with that. Having every building did look unique. You go around, everything looks amazing, but you can't destroy all of it, because if they were to make every individual texture destructible like that, it would require a ridiculous system and server-side stuff to be able to run all of that, so they can't do that. If they wanted to add in all that destruction again, they would have to copy and paste buildings over and over again, and they did that on some maps in BF4, like in Propaganda, and it seems like they're just scared to do that because they just want to, they rather sacrifice gameplay to have pretty-looking maps with unique buildings. Sorry for the rant.
That's okay. That's okay. You gotta get it out. I
had to get out the angry fat guy rant.
Well, it's therapeutic.
I'm good now though. Goose frog.
Well, there you go. I mean, it's therapeutic to get that stuff out. It's better to get it out on a live stream. With all the chat going too. So, anyway,
I'm having to fan my ears from my headphones to cool them off because I was starting to feel my blood boil with anger there, and my ears were heating up.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be more excited this week, except I got 2 hours sleep. Yeah.
And what's up to Timmy Tech, by the way, in the chat? So
what's up, Timmy? Timmy. What's up, Timmy? All right, so we got Nvidia and Samsung settle IP litigation. Now I might have to settle this with Timmy because I'm going to patent the whole junkyard builds.
Yep.
So Timmy's going to have to pay up.
He's going to have to pay up on the junkyard builds?
Yeah, that's it.
There you go. Well, this all goes back. So basically what this is all about is NVIDIA and Samsung have now decided to settle this legal battle that's been going on since back in 2014, where NVIDIA was essentially trying to double dip on their patent deals. They had previously had a patent deal with Intel for $1.5 billion that they had to pay over a course of, I believe, 5 years, which is now coming up to an end. Or I believe it did end. No, it's not ended yet, but it's coming up to an end. Anyway, so what they decided to do was to go double dip on Samsung, who were putting out phones with the Qualcomm processors, which allowed for a single chip to run graphics as well as light the screen and all that, which infringed on NVIDIA's copyright, or patents, I should say, with their really broad terms, just saying like, oh yeah, we have a patent on everything that runs graphics and lights a screen. Like, that's our patent, bro. So pay up.
Well, that's the way the big companies work now, man. They patent everything because they know what's to be gained out of it if there's breaches, or even if there's potential breaches. So it's getting ridiculous, the whole patent game, and it's kind of in ways I feel like it's actually limiting the whole market. So here's another agreement. So they've made an agreement with Samsung, it looks, to get some money. And
not as much as the Intel deal.
Not as much as the Intel. But I was kind of happy with the Intel deal. Take that money from Intel, because at least I'd rather, at least Nvidia is making gains. At least AMD and Nvidia are making gains in the GPU market, and I'm kind of glad to see that as an enthusiast, that at least we're still getting gains. Except when you look at the CPU market, we're not getting anything. But let's not go down that road.
Well, we'll be going down that road in just a few topics.
We'll be going down.
In just a few topics, we'll be getting to Kaby Lake. I think I've pretty much said everything I needed to say on the
Kaby Lake, adjacent to Rant Avenue.
You got anything you want to add on the Samsung lawsuit before we move on to Blackroom?
Not really. I mean, don't take too much of Samsung's money, because
Yeah, basically, it's all come to an end. If you're interested in that, it's over. Anyway, as just like that topic. All right, so Blackroom. If you remember last week, we talked about this. I was really excited about it. John Romero.
You were almost like jumping out of your underwear,
dude,
frolicking around naked.
And with as quick as that excitement came, it was just as quickly gone away. It's dissipated just as fast, because almost literally just a couple days after, John Romero and Nightwork Games come forward and they decide that they're going to actually put the Kickstarter on hold until they can get a gameplay demo for the community. They wanted to initially have this gameplay demo out before the Kickstarter would end in 30 days, but it looks like they weren't going to be able to hit that goal, so they decided to, you know what, we're just going to put this on hold because we want to be able to show people a working product before we start taking their money, which I totally commend them for.
I mean, I wonder if there's the legal ramifications of that too. I don't know. Like maybe they're just doing it for. I mean, like he has a great track record.
They didn't commit to it though. They didn't commit to it on the Kickstarter. They didn't say like we're gonna have a demo by the end of the Kickstarter, but they wanted to. But people were asking for one, so they decided they wanted to show one. They were like, hey, yeah, we realize right now this is a lot of talk and we don't actually have any gameplay to show you, and some people were asking for gameplay, so.
That's
true.
Like,
I think it's a good move on their part to do this. I think it's
a fair move on both parties. I mean, the amount of people who have been hosed on Kickstarters, you know, it's understandable, man. There's so many stories of people getting hosed on Kickstarter campaigns. So people want a demo. They want to know that it's real, which is fair enough. I mean, but John Romero's got a great, track record.
Right, which is why I was willing to, willing to basically throw, caution to the wayside and say, you know what, this is Romero, this is Adrian Carmack, original Doom guys working on a shooter, and I trust you. So here's my money. I trust you with this.
Yeah. So I don't know.
My trust.
Yeah, that's all right. That's exactly right. Even so, they can get memory tax. For giving us great memories.
Yeah, it's just like Divinity Original Sin. They did such a great job in that game. When they launched the Kickstarter for the second one, I didn't even think about it. I was like, yeah, you guys have earned my trust. Here you go. Here's the money.
Yeah, true. And that's a good thing, I like loyalty.
Yep. Yeah. All right. So. Well, I just wanted to bring that to people's attention since we talked about it last week, and I'm pretty sure there were a few people from that episode people that had said in the comments they went out and backed it right away. So I don't know. I don't know if the initial donations get refunded or if they have to wait until because they're going to be relaunching the Kickstarter. But I think when it relaunches, it launches back at $0 again, if I'm not mistaken. But I could be mistaken.
Okay, so you get a refund. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know for sure. If anyone, I was literally just like I said last week, I was getting ready to back it like that Friday when I got paid, and like that Friday is when they put the pause on it. So I was like,
but if they cancel the campaigns on Kickstarter, they give everyone a refund automatically.
Right. I don't know if they've canceled it. They said they put it on pause, so I don't know what that means. I don't know if like a few days had passed, they had already raised some money, so I don't know if pause means that it's just on pause and then when they unpause it, it resumes from where it left off, or if it's legit like canceled and they're going to start it back again from zero.
Well, it just says here, it says, Nightwork Games have decided to pause the fundraising and cancel the Kickstarter campaign. So when they cancel the Kickstarter campaign, I imagine everyone gets refunded automatically.
I would hope so,
yeah.
or at least put it on hold or whatever. And then if they don't make good on it within a period of time, they get their money back.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right, Dishonored 2.
Yeah, Dishonored 2 got a release date announcement for November 11th. Did you play the first one?
No.
I played the first two levels. I recognized that it was a really good game, but I was just not in the mood at the time to play a stealth game, and I've been meaning to go back to play it like ever since. It's just one of those games in my library that like, okay, that's a good game, and at some point in time, I'm going to sit down and I'm just going to cane through that in a weekend and just play it and enjoy the hell out of it. And that is just that is one of those games on my to-do list at some point.
Oh yeah, I gotta say happy birthday too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you.
Forgot to congratulate you. Yeah.
I have to congratulate you. You just gotta suck my dick.
Yeah, I'll pass. But look, I saw November 11th. Like that's my birthday. Your birthdays. I noticed you announced it on Twitter, like you said, birthday. So
I didn't want
exactly what day? Exactly what day is it?
Yesterday, May 3rd.
May 3rd. Okay, so May 3rd's your birthday. Cool. And yeah, congratulations. What did you get for your birthday? Like you usually get stuff,
Nothing.
Hey man, my mom still like sends me out chocolate and stuff. Tim Tams.
I'm going out this weekend with my mate. We're gonna go out.
What are you gonna do?
We're going to a planetarium.
And
that's really nerdy.
Sounds a little gay.
No, it's not. It's awesome.
You got something you want to tell the audience?
That I like planets and science.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we're going. No, they got a new planetarium up north New Jersey. That's like they got like loads of like new technology in there, and like it's like groundbreaking planetarium technology. So we're gonna go check that out. They got like this show where they take you around the galaxy, and you actually get to go back and see what the galaxy looked like when Galileo looked at it and shit. And then they do like guided like stargazing, which that sounds kind of gay. It's absolutely
fine. Well, it's absolutely fine, man. I mean, like, dude, you can tell the audience if you want to. Like, everyone's gay on the internet,
I'm not. It's not. No, I can't be gay. It's not. It's not gay if they wear a wig.
Anyway, all right. So, all right.
So the next, So
planetarium.
anyway,
Okay.
planetarium. That's what's
Yep.
going on this weekend. I might bring my camera and
Yeah.
see if it's cool. All right. Next up, though, another game announcement: Dawn of War 3. This is awesome. This is probably like the best announcement I saw this week. I'm a big fan of Warhammer, and I like the first two games. I like RTS games like this, so I'm going to be all over this game like a rash.
I mean,
And it looks hot.
was that the actual pick from the game? That looks pretty cool. That looks
Yeah, it
pretty bang up.
It's fucking awesome, man. The graphics on this look amazing.
Yeah. So, what is it like? RTS kind of?
It's an RTS game. Yeah, it's a Warhammer Dawn of War game. Yeah.
I mean, it looks really cool. It looks like something that I would want to get into.
Yeah, if you're into like StarCraft type stuff, you would probably like
definitely.
this.
Yeah. Does look pretty cool. So
Yeah,
I like that big robot. I want to build like 10 of those big robots.
I like the Warhammer games more than I like other RTSs just because of the lore with Warhammer. I just always think that it's helped expand the universe really, really well. So
Yeah.
I've always been into that. This looks good. I'm going to be getting this for sure.
Yep.
All right. Next up, though, this is a pretty
Hopefully,
good
I mean,
topic here.
but in Warhammer, I mean, hopefully you can build a planetarium.
Hopefully, and then go on bromances with it.
That's it. Yeah. That's it.
Yep. All right. So next up, we've got the i7 6950X. That's the upcoming Decacore.
Whoa.
10 core, 20 thread CPU from Intel. So yeah,
Yep.
that was up on eBay with one of the engineering samples, and it's sold for $1,950, which doesn't really reflect the final value of it because these things can get marked up a heap just because of the fact that they're before the actual chips come out.
Yeah, I mean, obviously someone's paying $19.50 just to get one of these things, so maybe they can
Early.
get on YouTube and they can be like, "Look at my Elite 6950X," because they're not, whoever gets it isn't bound by any agreements. They're allowed to do whatever they want with that chip.
WCCF Tech bought that, right? Like it was definitely WCCF Tech that bought that.
Yeah, and then then they can actually do the room of it like down to the
honestly-
T. Like
honestly, if you're a big website like WCCF Tech, for a CPU like this to get it also early, 1950 is a drop in the bucket.
That's true, because the amount of you could make, people are reading the article, they're like, this is surprisingly very accurate.
Well,
like
especially,
you guys,
there was rumors this CPU was going to launch at $1,500. So if it did launch at $1,500, a $450 markup is really not bad to get the thing a month before it comes out to everyone else.
To get the scoop,
That's definitely worth it. I'd probably pay that if I had the chance to get it early.
If you were a massive site, yeah, easy.
No, if I was Joker Productions, I'd fucking buy that thing if I knew about it.
I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't.
I would. I'd buy that. And if I saw that thing on sale like that and I had the $2,000 sitting in my pocket, which I don't. If I did, though, I wouldn't even think about it. Like, yeah, I need to get
Really?
that. Yeah,
Damn.
hell yeah. That'd be awesome. Are you kidding me? That'd be awesome to get that in early.
So what if you get it in and like it fries your motherboard? What would you do?
I'd be good to go on the motherboard. I was just telling you before the show, my motherboard already got a BIOS update to support this thing.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a Decacore, right? Like, no one's really tested those things on those X99 boards. So how are the X99
then I would be happy to be the first one, and then when it breaks, I'll just hit up JJ over at Asus and be like, "Yo, my board broke. Like, I need a new board."
Oh,
And
guys.
JJ would be like, "Get away from me! I saw your review of the RG Swift. Don't buy this monitor." The smell of electronics burning in the morning.
That's it, man. You're gonna be getting that.
It's not going to be burning
pop out.
much. It's only running at 3 gigahertz. It's not going to burn much, is it?
Oh man, that'd be funny if someone popped it and then like they do a remix with the toasty in there. Toasty.
Well, tell me how do you feel about them still keeping these CPUs at a measly 3 gigahertz just to keep the TDP down?
Oh, I mean that's the general norm, man. They have to set it at a level that will not break any board. It's about safety, When you do things like that, you can't release it at 3.6 gigahertz because someone somewhere might get screwed over by that. You know what I mean? So they're releasing it at a safe level, and that's understandable. So
I can't imagine a person that's the type of person you were talking about going out and buying a Decacore CPU.
Yeah, I
can't
mean,
imagine.
hell yeah. I mean, I can imagine it. You live in Dubai. Those guys have got a lot of money, dude. and look at their temperatures where they
Yeah,
live.
but do you think they're going
Disgusting.
to go out and buy a Decacore without even realizing
Yeah.
what they're buying?
Oh, yeah. In Dubai, man, those guys are loaded.
But it doesn't mean they're stupid.
Like, I don't know, man. They're loaded. That's all I know. So they would go out and buy one.
So basically, Brian's assessment is if you've got loads of money, you're too stupid to know what's good for you.
No, it's not. I mean, I didn't make that assumption at all. You're taking words out. You're making
I'm
an
putting words
assumption
in your
based
mouth.
on something that I'm saying. I'm just saying the guy. You're saying who would buy that. I'm saying there's people in very hot climates who have a lot of money who would buy it, and they have
I think
to
they'd also
make
buy
it.
a cooler now, like a water cooler or something.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, they have to make it still to a TDP level that's safe for everything. So that's
I
all.
guess,
It's just
whatever.
safe.
I just say, hey, can't I just dream for a 3.6 that boosts to 4.2 stock? Like, can I just hope for
Yeah,
that?
you
Can
can
I just
dream.
dream for that? Can I dream
Just
for that
ain't
one
happening.
day?
Just
It
ain't
just ain't
happening,
gonna-
bro.
Well, they need to shrink the process more. Then they need to get it down to they need to get it down to a 1 nanometer process. And then we'll
They
be good to go.
need to give away chips. That's what they need to do. They need to start making chips and giving them away for free.
Well, I mean, they may as well do that with Kaby Lake, as far as I'm concerned. So I certainly won't be getting one of those because that's our next topic here. Kaby Lake, man, looking very, very unimpressive already.
So the benchmarks have been leaked and
Yeah.
another trickle. So it looks like another trickle. Yeah, what we're getting here is another trickle. A leaked CSOFT. I mean, why is it always a CSOFT Sandra benchmark? What is with the leaked? Last time I read up about a leak, it was like a leaked CSOFT Sandra benchmark. So I want to have a look at this exactly. Go to the source, WCCF Tech.
Well, basically, looking at the specs, it basically looks like a slightly upscaled version of a Skylake processor with some new features, adding in things like native USB 3.1 support, HDCP 2.2, so you can do all your 4K content and not have to worry about getting blocked anywhere, which is actually a pretty welcome thing. HEVC main 10 and VP9 10-bit hardware coding. So in other words, users can expect a slightly more efficient version of Skylake with a handful of new features. That's a quote from TechSpot. So yeah, it looks like another one that's very, very small IPC gains, but they're just adding in the modern features.
Yeah, it's disappointing by now. I mean, I hope that they would have given us one architecture where we at least get like a solid 10% and people are like, hey, this is actually really good.
Honestly, most of those features they're adding on sound like they could be added in a BIOS update, or with a new motherboard with with the right holes on it.
Yeah, probably get Z270 now. Get your new.
I just need the right holes, man. Like
it's now got SATA 4 on it.
Oh, can we get that?
Everyone's hopped over to PCIe, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Not impressed with Kaby Lake, unfortunately, but I am impressed with Broadwell E. I want more cores, so and the fact that it'll run on my current motherboard, which I actually am quite fond of, is good. That's good.
Yeah, I mean that's usually the deal though with X99. People know that. People, the enthusiasts, X58,
it lasts
X99,
a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, they usually last a lot longer. So usually, so that's the whole
Jesus
deal.
Christ, Brian, you need to get your nose under control, sir. Or stuff a tampon up there or something.
I do. I know. I need to get a tampon up there. So
we'll just pull it out
and
of
go
your
to
vagina.
and then go to the planetarium.
You just gotta get the tampon out of your vagina, and you can put that in your nose.
Well, then I can go to the planetarium.
You gotta go to the planetarium for bromance dates.
That's it.
Speaking of bromance dates, we got the Polaris Architecture up next. That's a segue and a half if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
So this is on the main AMD website. So they've now posted up an actual Polaris Architecture page where you can go view some basic details about it, as well as even sign up for notification if you want to be notified about Polaris as they start to trickle out more information, which is a nice way of saying that you're going to sign up for their emailing list. And then you're going to get loads of spam every day from AMD forever.
Yeah, but I mean, it looks really good. Like when you start putting it into perspective, it looks like this FinFET 14 nanometer technology that they're going with looks really good.
It does.
I mean, it's looking like it's going to be definitely bringing in some big power efficiency gains for AMD, and that's what I'm hoping for. We're all hoping for it as tech enthusiasts, so that will give some real stiff competition to Nvidia, which is what we all love,
I've got a 480 article now too, by the way.
So, we might as well jump straight into the 480 article because we're talking about
together.
Yeah. So, I mean, AMD's touting that their R9 480 offers performance that's close. I mean, by close, we don't really know, but it's meant to be close to the R9 390X at half its power draw. So, that's definitely an interesting claim to make. and it depends. It remains to be seen what they're going to. So maybe this is the true rumor. Like, we heard that $300
Yeah,
price.
that one. Yeah, this one
Yeah,
seems.
well,
This one seems a little bit more realistic, maybe. But they are.
Yeah.
But then they say here that the 480 would be equivalent to around the 390X, whereas the 480X would be beating the 980 Ti, which that seems pretty bold, because that's the 480s. That's like, if they do, the same thing as before, and they do like a 490X, and then like more Fury cards, then 480 is pretty low down there. If that's actually beating a 980 Ti,
I mean, it
that
depends.
low tier, that's pretty impressive.
I mean, yeah, it remains to be seen exactly what they're going to do. I mean, again, last week we talked about that, $300 980 Ti performance or Fury X performance. It's like, I really have to see that one to believe it.
Yeah, I would as well. I mean,
this one looks a bit more reliable.
So. I mean, I'm really looking forward to this. I don't want anyone to think that I'm not. I'm definitely going to get a Polaris GPU in to test on the channel. On top of Nvidia's Pascal, I want to get from both sides to test this time around.
Yeah. Definitely, yeah.
But I'm a little bit skeptical about some of the claims that they're making, because AMD is kind of notorious for overpromising and underdelivering. They're very famous for doing that a lot.
In the last few years, that has been true. Just this time around, they've got 14 nanometers to back them up. So I do think there's going to be a big push from Polaris. I just hope it's as big as they claim. And I mean,
still running on GCN.
Yeah, it's just, I hope they're not doing like these whole comparisons of like, R9 480 overclocked versus an R9 390X. It's like, you just can't do those comparisons. You got to, if you're comparing overclocked, compare it overclocked versus overclocked, and whatnot. So I mean, this just looks awesome. I'm really looking forward to the R9 480 and the 480X. Oh, and with that, it looks like the R9 490 and the 490X will be their flagship cards, right?
Well, here's what I'm curious about now. Is someone in the chat brought up, adding in more HBM to the chips. So it's going to be interesting to see if they which chips are going to get HBM this time around, or if they're going to get DDR5X, because they went pretty hardcore with HBM on the Fury lineup. But HBM2 is still not ready. So if they did decide to go with HBM again, they'd still be limited to 4 gigabytes. So I'm curious to see how that's going to work in with the release of DDR5X, because it looks like Nvidia is going past, not just completely skipping past HBM1 and not even going to bother with that.
Well, that's exactly right, because you get a 4 gigabyte frame buffer there. And I mean, a lot of people are going to be using the higher end cards for 4K. So... Yeah, I mean, having the high bandwidth is good there, but 4 gigabytes is still 4 gigabytes at the end of the day. That's it. That's what people are saying ever since the Fury X was released. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they're going with. I mean, still a DDR5X. That's what a 480 with HBM at 4 gigabytes would still be kick ass.
That's what I was thinking actually, is do DDR5X on some of the higher end newer cards, and then maybe work in HBM on sort of the mid tier, if they can actually afford that and keep the price down as well without having to raise it up too much.
I mean, it will be really interesting to see what they do. I mean, it looks like though they do have not only an architectural improvement coming, like even if I don't know how big it will be. It's rumored to be little, but it's still going to be an improvement. And then you've got that massive shrink in the node there, going down from 28 to 14. That is pretty damn huge. So with those two, a combination of both, we can expect something big. And it's coming at the right time, when AMD really needs it with Zen as well. And especially since their stock prices have been pushed, it kind of, the stock price push to me kind of, rumors that a lot, like they've got some solid stuff in the works. And I mean, I hope they do, right? This is, like, as we said before, it's kind of like AMD's last stand in the enthusiast community. If they don't make a break with this, it's a make or break. If they don't make with Zen and they don't make with the Polaris, then, I don't know. They have to do it. They have to do it.
Hopefully. Last week we were talking about AMD as well. We had a bunch of topics in them. This is the last one to round up today for AMDs, because we were talking last week about the Pro Duo. And we talked about the benchmarks that we saw, the early ones where they didn't test against SLI and other multiple GPU cards. So I was like, I want to see some better testing. PC perspective, they put out a review where they actually did test against more cards. I'm still a little bit concerned, though, with the numbers from them, which I'm usually not from PC perspective. But the reason I'm concerned is if you look at the benchmarks they ran, they had one act like Benchmark, the 3D Mark Firestrike, and all of the rest of the games they tested, Fallout 4, GTA 5, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, those are all Nvidia titles that have had GameWorks in them, or do have GameWorks in them. So those I'm not really like, yeah, I'd rather not really see all GameWorks titles being tested here, guys. That's not something I want to see. So I've got the Firestrike numbers up here. We're looking at these, and we do see on the graphics score, the Pro Duo 8GB coming in at 13,532 versus 14,792 of the 980 Ti's and SLI, which makes sense since the Pro Duo is dual nano cards. But the real winner there is the price to performance for the as far as the power consumption is concerned, because the power consumption on this is like half of the 980 Ti's and SLI. So the fact that they're doing that at such a low power consumption is really good. But the 980 Ti's are still beating it out. They also tested nanos in Crossfire, which is effectively the same thing as the Pro Duo card, and the Pro Duo beat that out by a little bit. It's worth noting, though, this is still a 4GB card. It has 8GB, but it's only 4GB of it is usable. So it's
still in DX11. Yep. So it's interesting. I mean, it's the power efficiency is the real winner there. So I mean, you see in some titles at 4K, for instance, you're looking at Fallout 4, you're getting a 19% increase with the 980 Ti's. But for the power efficiency, it's looking like the Fury X Nanos, or the Fury Nanos, and the Pro Duos performing very similar. And I like it how they tested the Nanos in Crossfire too. That was pretty cool. And they weren't getting any very little difference in performance. So it goes to show that's pretty good. It's a good card.
Yeah, I just wish they would have tested more games though. It's disappointing that they tested all Nvidia cards. I expected a lot more from PC perspective though.
I don't, man. Dude, benchmarking is so time consuming. Like, to do it consistently and get consistent results. Like, you look at they're doing observed FPS. They're doing frame times. They're doing. Dude, that takes a lot of time.
I know it does, but it does. But they tested a number of games. So why not mix it up though in the number of games that you test and not just do all Nvidia titles? That's what I'm not saying there's anything wrong with their numbers. I'm just saying I wanted to see a little bit better mix-up of the titles tested. I'm sure the numbers are fine. I'm sure they're accurate. Because this is about what I would expect to see. But I would only look at the Firestrike numbers here.
I would love to see Crysis 3 in there. I always like to see Crysis 3. It's a staple.
Yeah, but also that's an AMD title. That's a game that actually favors one side or the other. Why not just test a bunch of games that don't favor both sides or either side really, and just mix it up? So if we look at on the Firestrike numbers here, it's only winning by about 1,000 points, which is a pretty slim margin between the Pro Duo and the 980 Ti's and SLI. So let's switch over to Witcher 3 and we'll look at those numbers real quick and see how much of a difference it was there. The 980 Ti's and SLI were getting up around 100 to 120 FPS, whereas the Pro Duo and Nanos in Crossfire were getting around 80 FPS. So that is a rough 20 to 40 FPS frame variance there between the two. That's a huge gap. The gap on the Firestrike is nowhere near as big as that, and this is consistent on all of the games that they tested here. When you look at the comparison, and that's because those are titles that favor Nvidia. So look at the Firestrike numbers here if you actually want to see numbers that.
Yeah, I know, but still, you still got to optimize games through drivers and whatnot. That's what I was saying. I'd love to see Crysis 3 just to get an idea.
Witcher 3 was known when it came out to favor Nvidia, and it's been a long time since it came out, and both sides have had chances to optimize for it, and they've put out updates for Witcher, which have made it better on AMD, but you can see by these numbers here that it's still not completely narrowing the gap between the two there, as Nvidia is getting a much bigger lead on a game that favors them versus a benchmark that doesn't favor anyone.
That's what I'm saying. I think they should have thrown in one more title, definitely, especially, you're right, with the too many Nvidia titles, but I would have loved to have seen, Crysis 3 in there just to know how well they're doing, because then it comes down to, okay, are they programming the driver properly for their SLI cards and Crossfire configurated cards? So, much of a muchness there, but I'm not going to, me benchmarking myself, man, I'm not going to take a stab at someone. If you benchmark more than 3 games, I've got respect for you, because
but benchmark a mixture of games.
Yeah, that's true. exactly right. Just one game's obviously not enough. It never is. 2 games kind of pushing it. 3 games okay, because start to get.
I mean, if I were to post a video review of like an Nvidia card versus an AMD card, and I tested all Nvidia titles, like people would tear me apart. I would never do that. I would be afraid to do that. I would probably like lose my channel overnight if I did that. Like it'd be terrible. And then again, I've seen other people get away with it, so maybe not. Anyway, next topic here. NVIDIA driver 365.10 WHQL was released. This is a game-ready driver for Forza Motorsport 6, which is coming out, but it's a Windows 10 exclusive, so it'll still probably run bad. The best thing I saw on this driver was it did add in SLI profile for Overwatch. So before this, it didn't have one. As soon as I did a clean install and updated my drivers to this one, when I started playing Overwatch, it kicked on the SLI for me, which was giving me that great scaling that you saw in the video.
Oh yeah, that was huge. Yeah.
Yes, I haven't played any other games on this driver, but yeah, that Overwatch was running great. I'm still having problems with the recording on SLI though, which I've opened up. I opened up a ticket with. It is a ticket now, but I had spoke to someone over Nvidia, Sean Pelly over at Nvidia, and then he put me in touch with Manuel, who is like the lead guy who does the drivers over there. So they're trying to look into seeing why SLI is causing flickering on recording in GameWorks. And other people had mentioned afterwards that I said that like I've been having issues too, even on single GPU. So it could be beyond just SLI, but I don't know why I'm getting it only on SLI.
Well, yeah, it looks like they're just ironing out a few bugs. So
yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Star Wars.
Yep. Star Wars. Yeah. Respawn, the guys that made Titanfall, they're working on a Star Wars game, have been for about 2 years. And they're working with Stig Asmussen, who was the lead director on God of War 3. And I believe he worked on all the God of War games, if I'm not mistaken. But he did direct God of War 3.
Yeah.
I remember, as soon as I saw his name, I remembered it from that, because on God of War 3, they had the making of the game on the Blu-ray with the game. And I loved watching that. I watched it like multiple times, so I remember him from that, because they interviewed him loads for it. So it's good to see he's a good name coming onto the title. But, after Titanfall, which I didn't really like, I'm hoping Respawn can bounce back and give me a game I'll actually enjoy. They're talking about doing a third-person action adventure series, which could be interesting.
So all we know is it's Star Wars. It's got something to do with Star Wars, and they've been working on it for a few years.
Well, it's third-person action adventure. Now, there was already rumors that Visceral, the guys that make Dead Space, were already working on doing a third-person action game, which would have picked up where Star Wars 1313 left off, which had gotten canceled after LucasArts got sold over to Disney. So, but maybe this is it. This could, because that was a third-person action adventure, maybe Respawn was actually the people that picked that up, because up until now, it was just rumored that Visceral was working on that. But we know 3 studios were working on Star Wars games after the announcement.
I think you're right on the money there. Like, I think that's just pretty, I think they're picking up the pieces, and then they're going to release something. So...
Yeah, but it's pretty good. I mean, today's the May the 4th be with you. I made a joke earlier on Twitter. I was like, the day where we all become free social media marketing tools for Disney. it's like everywhere I look, everyone's like, May the 4th be with you, and posting all these tweets and everything. I was like, you do realize you're just doing what they want you to do, right? On just another day. I mean, I understand like other holidays have been created for stupider reasons, but come on.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like being a corporate pawn to just go out there and tweet about Star Wars just because they said a funny line about May the 4th be with you.
Well, I mean, honestly, I just hope this game comes out and it's kick-ass, right? Like,
I hope so too. After Battlefront was disappointing, so I hope this is better. Maybe I'm just. I mean,
Battlefront was really cool to play on the open beta for like a weekend. I was really happy, and then I'm like, I'm not going to buy it because
I saw a video recently talking about why Star Wars Battlefront blows, and I was like, I watched it. I was like, oh my god, is this guy just going to say everything I said in my reasons it's going to suck video? And he didn't. This guy was hilarious. I don't remember his name, but if you look up the reasons Battlefront blows, there's a really funny video about it. And he makes a really good analogy that Battlefront is like when you're a little kid and you get like that Fisher-Price like basketball hoop when you're 7 years old, which is really fun when you're like 7 years old. But like by the time you're a teenager, if you tried to invite your friends over to the house to play on your little Fisher-Price basketball hoop, they were like, get out of here. This isn't fun. Like we want to play on a real basketball hoop. And that's what Battlefront was like to me. It's like playing with you go on there, and if you have any decent skill or whatever from playing any shooters, you're going to go on there and absolutely trounce everyone. It'll be like, yeah, this is fun just for the sake of being the fact that I'm owning people, but that's only fun for so long. And then you're just like, I want a challenge now at this point, and there's nothing there.
Yeah.
The game is shallow. It's empty. There's no reason to keep playing it unless you're just a massive Star Wars nerd.
Well, that's it. Unless you just want to, go into third person and look at your character.
I am a Star Wars nerd, but even I was like, yeah, I can't play this. This is just like boring.
Oh, there we go. Oculus shipping hardware.
Yeah, last topic of the day here. Oculus is doing some controversial stuff. There looks like they're going to be putting their headsets out in Best Buy starting on May.
I love it. Absolutely amazing decision.
Yeah, Brian's a Best Buy fan. Brian's a Best Buy fanboy. This is not a good decision because this is screwing over pre-orders and Kickstarter backers, who are still waiting to get their Oculus headsets. But now it looks like people will just be able to walk into Best Buy and just get one right off the shelf without having to wait.
Yo, Papa, get down, get an Oculus, man. Yeah, I'm heading down to get my head down to Best Buy. Gonna get my Oculus roll.
But I think the best thing on this page actually is the ad at the top right. It's 15 mom outfits that need to stop now. Do you see that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Personally,
you've got some different articles, I think.
I don't know if that was the mom and she was wearing that outfit, then she doesn't need to stop wearing that. She needs to continue wearing that. That needs to happen. So that.
So what are your feelings about it getting released at Best Buy?
I think it's terrible that they're doing that for the people that have backed it on Kickstarter for ages and pre-ordered, and they still haven't gotten their headsets. It's fucked up.
Isn't that the whole deal? Don't they have an agreement kind of there if they've put money into the Kickstarter and aren't they entitled to like getting it sort of first?
I don't know.
What's going on there? I mean, just anyway, look, if I was in the States, I'd head down to Best Buy.
Brian, did you drink before we went on stream, did you drink half a bottle of Robitussin?
No.
No, because you look like you're out of it at the minute.
I am a little bit out of it, dude. I'm a little bit sick this week, so I'm not gonna lie.
Brian is a little bit out of it. That's okay, guys. We have to support him through his struggle. His
that's it. Struggle's real, man. Like I've just come down with something nasty the last few days, so surprised I can even do this stream, but I'll do it. I'm a soldier.
Well, we're coming up on the end anyway, man. That was the last topic. We've got Q&A now, and then we're going to go into Thrones talk, which we're going to make a weekly thing here we talked about last week. It's going to be after Q&A, though. After Q&A, we will do fucking Thrones talk. We're going to talk about spoilers from Game of Thrones, but questions now, though. Get those questions going in chat. Let us see what you guys want to talk about. You can ask them in chat. You can ask them on Twitter, but actually just do it in chat. Chat's easier. Why would you go over to somewhere else? Just do it here.
Well, that's it, yeah. Just go in there. Just ask it in here, and I'll, like Timmy Tech said, I'll just get some of that battery water cracking,
Battery water.
That's it. And I should have, see, I was that sick, I forgot to make my Jar Jar cup of tea.
Oh, look at that. The countdown page changed. Before they had a picture of the Earth, now they have a picture of the Golden Gate Bridge, which is even more telling of NVIDIA. I mean, that's where the event is being held in San Francisco, which is where Linus is right now.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well, it's not big.
All the big guys out there who massage the right egos are at the event.
Well, that's it. So you got to get that. Got to get your hands on that Pascal. So, okay. First question here: do you like pepperoni or ham and pineapple, Joker?
I like sausage, sliced sausage.
Okay, there you go.
I don't like either of those.
I'm a big ham and pineapple fan. That wasn't a question.
I don't think fruit should be on pizza. That should be illegal.
COD announcement trailer. We already spoke about that last week. I wasn't too impressed. Yeah, you were looking for the remastered more than anything.
Well, we talked about the rumor, and then they got the official trailer got released. Which, if you're gonna watch it, just skip to 2 minutes and 14 seconds. That's when the real trailer starts. Okay. That's the 10 seconds we get to see of Call of Duty 4, which looks amazing. The remaster on it, the graphics look great. And I'm still excited to play that and only that. I have no interest in playing Infinite Warfare.
Okay. And thoughts on PlayStation Neo?
We talked about that too.
Yeah.
Go back a couple episodes.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. So we spoke about sort of both those things. So
do you think the 1070 would be the same performance as the 980 Ti?
No, not a 1070. I mean, they can't do that straight off the get-go.
Well, I mean, if the 1080 comes out with 8 gigabytes of DDR5X, you would have to think that the 1070 is going to be like 8 gigabytes of DDR5 and probably beat the 980 Ti, or at least tie it.
Nah.
No?
Nah. I don't think. Like, I mean, they can't do that at the moment.
Why not? I mean, the 970 is really close to the 780 Ti. It's got more video memory, and it's really close in terms of performance. And overclocked, I'd be willing to bet that it could even beat it because it overclocks
That
better.
depends.
I can get
I
my
mean,
970 over 1500 megahertz, man. I'd put that thing against a 780 any day of the week.
I mean, yeah,
780 Ti.
I'll definitely be putting them head to head. That's for sure. But will it beat a 980 Ti? I mean,
the 970 handily beat the 780, so I think it would at least tie or beat a 780 Ti. Personally, I'd like to test it though.
not a 780, a 980 Ti, yeah, not a 780.
Well, no, what I'm
1070.
what I was saying is, if a 970 beat a 780 Ti, then why wouldn't a 1070?
Yeah,
beat
like
a
I mean,
980 Ti?
as of now, right? Like, Maxwell's had a long time to get quality, driver loving from Nvidia, but from the get go, no. Like, it'll take like a year and a bit to get there, when Nvidia just starts slowly neglecting Maxwell, So I think that's what you'll see.
I don't know. Salad Fingers, a 980 Ti is a perfectly capable 1440p card for 60 hertz, and for maxing things out. You don't need to throw up anti-aliasing all the way. There are definitely some titles that won't be able to completely max out, where you'll have issues with maybe mostly GameWorks features. But like Witcher 3 with Hairworks off, everything else I could run up at Ultra on a single 980 Ti. I only need the other 980 Ti at 1440p if I want to throw on Hairworks. Without that, I don't need it.
So yeah, Q&A, is there any point in getting a new card if devs are being lazy? I mean, it depends, right? Like, you could still get away with a 7970 at 1080p. I mean, that card still kicks ass at 1080p. Someone said a 980 Ti, so it's not for 1080p. I mean, I was playing 980 Ti at 4K, and on high settings and overclocked, it was handling a lot of games at 4K. So just if you balance the settings. So I personally, I never max settings, and if I had a card where I was maxing settings, then I've paid too much for that graphics card.
Yeah, 970 is even a good 1440p card. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Every time I test a new game on the 970 and I run it at 1440p, I'm floored with how well the games run. Like the past like half a dozen games or so I've ran since like Just Cause 3, I would say.
Yeah.
Throwing it on the 970 at 1440, and I'm just like, wow, this card can really handle 1440 at like high settings.
That's what I was saying. It's always been, for me, it's always been a 1440p card. So
well, I'm just surprised, because I remember when I had my two 980s, like thinking like, man, 1440p is going to kill me. It's going to be impossible.
Nah. So it just depends, really. So hopefully it's much of them. I'm waiting patiently to see what the new cards bring to the table. So, but yeah, Joker, buy a 4K monitor and play at the moment 1440p for future proof. Buy.
What's the question?
Yeah,
buy
I don't know.
4K monitor and play at the minute 1440p for future. Yes, okay, I know what he's saying. Yeah, actually, yeah, that's like. I mean,
It's too early in the morning for me to decipher.
Unless you're concerned about getting higher refresh rates at 4K or whatever, if you're okay with 60 hertz, then yeah, actually it's really good. Since having the 4K monitors here, I'm just like, yeah, I'd rather have this and just play games at 1440 until GPUs catch up and I could push the full resolution of the monitor, because at 1440p the games look absolutely fine, especially on a 27-inch. But on the 32-inch, like I said in the review on the monitors, you need a more serious anti-aliasing option. So if you come to a game that has like no anti-aliasing or really bad anti-aliasing and you try to play it at 1440p, then it's probably not going to look great. But then again, in my experience, those games probably also run well in 4K because they're, not as good looking or modern games.
Yeah. So what do you guys make about HDR coming up? Is that the AMD feature, the high dynamic?
Well, it's not AMD. Well, where's the question?
So Walter Black, what do you guys make about the HDR coming up?
Well, I don't know. What do you mean about it? Well, HDR, I mean, has been out for quite a while. I don't know exactly what you're asking about HDR. Do you mean like HDR monitor support and GPUs? I guess.
Wasn't that AMD's feature that weren't they introducing that?
They talked about HDR because they're going to be able to support it over HDCP 2.2. But there's new OLED monitors coming out that are going to have HDR built into them, but that's still a ways away. And the ones that are coming out are like insanely expensive, like thousands and thousands of dollars. So that's still a ways off, but they look amazing. And the OLED panels are like 0.1 millisecond response time with HDR and amazing contrast. So yeah, I want to get those eventually. I want one.
Well, that's what I'm saying. HDR is a great thing to have, right? So
HDR would be great for gaming. As was 0.1 millisecond response time on those panels. I mean, OLED does degrade over time. The images on the monitors do degrade over time, but we're talking years here, so it wouldn't be a concern of mine. I'd be willing to put it out there for the HDR.
Well, that's it. The good old high dynamic resolution.
Yeah. That's one of the biggest selling.
Range.
That's
it depends. Is it in this case? It's high dynamic range. Is that high dynamic resolution?
Range. No, it's it's the color and lighting range that the.
I know that, but like, are they using that term with resolution as well? I don't know.
I've never heard of high dynamic resolution.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. I don't know. You were talking some next gen shit, so I was like,
no, it's just HDR, which bringing support to more panels and stuff, and having it be native.
Oh, so it's just standard high dynamic range. Yeah, it's just standard stretching. Stretching out the band.
No, that's not what that is at all. High dynamic range is an increased range for colors and lighting.
Yeah, so stretching out. That's what I'm saying. Stretching out the band of colors, making it.
Oh, the colors that you're talking about, stretching out an image like resolution wise.
No. I'm saying stretching out the band of colors.
Yeah. So that's, honest HDR is like one of the biggest features on 4K displays that I would want to take advantage of, even more so than the resolution. Like, yeah, having 4K resolution is nice, but like if we're talking about like on TVs especially. With the size that they are and the distance you're watching it from, the 4K, you're going to barely even see that much of a difference unless you're really close or you have a really big screen. So one of the best things you can actually see is HDR when you're watching like a 4K Blu-ray. I've got some 4K Blu-rays since they started coming out, and they look incredible. If you watch a movie that like The Revenant is probably the best looking one. It was shot in above 4K, so it's completely native resolution, and it's got HDR, and it looks jaw dropping. It's like, wow, like comparing like side by side to a non HDR version, you can't even believe it's the same thing.
Yeah, I hope we get HDR in gaming too, but we got asked, how do you think my Raspberry Pi will do at 4K?
I don't think you'll be able to do that one. I think you're going to be SOL there.
So someone got their 4K panel, the AMH 409U to 110 hertz.
I do have a 4K Blu-ray player, yes.
So have you tried to get your AMH 409U at lower resolutions? Have you tried overclocking yours?
I have not tried it at lower resolutions, but I'd be willing to bet that I could do at least 85 hertz, which is what I could get it to on 4K.
Okay. So we got asked about a 1070. Would it be stable at 1600 megahertz? I'd say definitely yes. I think the 1070. I think you'll see these new cards probably going up to 1.7. Maybe. I'd say that's a fair assertion to make. They're going to 16 nanometer. Hopefully, it's a good 16 nanometer. So, and they got smaller die. So, it remains to be seen. But I think it will be pretty good. It depends on how. There's a few factors involved, but I definitely think we could see. 1600 megahertz is definitely on the cards. But like, from a reference speed, no. I'd say no. Like, reference speed would probably be around 1300 at best. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really just pulling figures out of my ass here. So
probably. All right. So that's going to wrap it up for, I think, Q&A. I think we're winding down on that. So that means before we get out of here, though, we're going to do a really quick Thrones talk, which means spoilers. So we're going to be talking about this week's episode of Game of Thrones a little bit. So if you want to avoid any spoilers, now is your time to leave. Thank you for watching TGW, and we will catch you guys next week if you're going to leave now.
Yeah.
So here it goes. Spoilers in 3, 2, ta-da. So, Brian, this week on Game of Thrones, man, I know you were excited to see this week's episode after we were talking about it last week, and
dude,
I'm sure you're in all your glory. So go on, tell the people what happened.
Told Joker, man. I told him. He said it wasn't.
He told me, but I knew nothing.
He said it wasn't a possibility. I'm like, nah. Our main man is coming back to life, brother. He's got to. Otherwise, I was going to rage quit. I wasn't going to watch it anymore.
Yeah.
And they brought him back. I was just like, oh, dude. I just ran. I almost pulled off my underwear and ran outside naked. That's how excited I was for Jon Snow.
Skylar's asking. Skylar, I have a Samsung Blu-ray player. It's a 4K UHD player. I literally just got it, and yes, I do have one.
There's one character you just don't kill. That's Jon Snow, bro. Everyone's
I was
come to
fine with it
love.
being killed, man. I was ready to see like
No.
Tyrion. I wanted to see Tyrion take over and be the lead badass character for the guys. You know, with all these strong female characters taking over now, we needed a strong male character, so that's why Tyrion had to do it, man.
No way. It's just like, nah, this is the guy who gives hope to all humans around the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the guy you can connect with. Jon
I
Snow.
don't know. I don't know. I had a lot of. I kind of felt that way about Khaleesi, but now I've kind of started to cool off on her, man.
Yeah.
Kind of cooled off on Khaleesi a little bit. I'm rooting for Tyrion.
Yeah, like
right now,
like I said, I really couldn't care if Khaleesi gets offed. Like,
what did you think about the scene there with Ramsay? I thought that was actually a really interesting.
Ramsay.
With him taking out Roose Bolton, man. He just like Roose Bolton's like, yeah, I've had a son. Done. That's it. That's all I needed to hear. Done. No questions asked. I mean, Ramsay is cold, man.
Dude,
cold.
I was like, damn, how low are they gonna make this character now? Shit, man. Like,
and then he feeds a woman and a baby to a dog.
Like, I was a Ramsay supporter, but now I'm on the fence. Like, who the hell kills their own dad?
What's your name, Rick? What's your name?
Yeah, like, who the hell kills their own dad though? Like, damn, that's some cold shit. So
yeah, I mean, well, yeah, I mean,
he's
a bastard. He's a bastard.
no, but he's dead. I don't know. His dad kind of did pull a one up on him, but still, sort of like, you know, the kid. Like, here's the real heir to the throne kind of thing.
All right, here's the question. I think that this is all shaping up to eventually we're going to get the final showdown between Ramsay Bolton and Jon Snow. So who do you think will win that fight?
Jon Snow, definitely, man. Jon Snow gonna.
Well, you got to say that he's your boyfriend.
Yeah, that's it. My boy gonna. Just gotta go ham on him, man.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Ramsay's all right, you know, running around with his boys and telling his dogs to do things, but I want to see him get in real, you know, one-on-one combat with Jon Snow. We did see him in one of the battles where he was kicking some ass. But I want to see him fight like a good soldier, you know. Like,
the thing is,
Jon
Snow learned his lesson now. He let down his guard. Now he ain't gonna let down his guard at all. So, GG. So.
I don't know. Right now, there's a lot of questions being answered this season, but I still want to know is how Sir Davos's reading lessons are going. Because last time he was still a little bit behind there, so I'm hoping that Sir Davos has gotten a little bit better at reading.
Yeah, fair enough.
Dear Stannis.
That's it.
Happy birthday from the Night's Watch.
That's it.
He's like, it's so funny when he was like trying to read those letters to him. That was good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's all we got to talk about for this week, though. I know Brian wants to go back to bed. He looks like he's about dead right there. Thank you for joining us for episode 48.
I am. Yep.
TGW.
Yep.
Spoilers and
episode
everything.
48. Yep. Spoils and everything, guys. So.
You know, some people weren't here at the beginning for the cartoon. Do you think we should play it again?
Nah, it's all right. It's all right. We'll put the link in the description below. Check it out. It's an awesome cartoon.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's a fair point. So at the start of the show, we showed a cartoon with TGW. First link in the description is to the full cartoon over at Tiago Tunes. Be sure to check that out. It's hilarious if you like YouTubers and tech tubers and stuff. So check it out. All right. We will catch you guys next week, same time, same place, all that good stuff.
All right. Tear up. We'll catch you in the next one.